The Gambia Scorpions produced a stunning performance against the Harambee Stars of Kenya, racing into a 3-0 halftime lead after some wonderful attacking display by the Gambia. Kenya, they threw everything they got in the second half and eventually got a consolation goal for the game to end 3-1 in favor of the Gambia Scorpions. This, guys, was by far one of the best performances we have seen by the Gambia Scorpions, especially that first half performance. The second half was always about, trying to hold back Kenya with all the substitutions coming on in the second half, disrupting the flow of the game for the Gambia and players getting tired eventually. You would expect Gambia with their 3-0 lead, Kenya being the home team, they will throw everything they got. The second half was not like Gambia did not create a single chance in that second half, did not take a single shot in that second half, but the job has been done in the first half, so it was more about preserving that lead. So of course you can understand from the Gambia point of view that the second half performance was not great. But again, you have to just look at it in the perspective of Kenya, where the home team, they wanted to come back into this game after 3-0, Gambia humbling them in the first half, putting 3 past them in that first half. So they wanted to throw everything they got. Gambia tried to hold us back. Let's not forget about the first game we played against Kenya. Gambia went into a 2-0 lead. Kenya did come back. Gambia went into a 3-2 lead. Kenya came back again. So maybe that was playing in the mind of the coach. So he wanted to preserve this 3-0 lead that he had in the first half, and that's what they did. We did not create much in the second half. The substitution also did not help in trying to improve the performance, or the players who came on did not really have the impact that you would have expected them to have. Some of them did have a decent game. Some of the substitution, they came in and have a decent game, but it really killed the flow of the game for Gambia, from what we saw in the first half to what we see in the second half. But nonetheless, if you look at it in the overall perspective, the performance, the overall game, I think this was one of Gambia's best performance under Jonathan McKinstry. He got a lot of things right in terms of his team selection, in terms of the system that he approached the game with. And here were my 3 main takeaways from this game. The first one, I think we all know it. That is the team that we have. When the occasion is big, this team usually turn up. Let's remember the game we played against Ivory Coast. Yes, we lost 1-0. One of the best performances we produced on that journey. Let's look at the Tunisia game in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier, the final game of Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. We went inside Tunisia, a fully packed stadium. We shocked them and won that game 1-0. Let's remember the game we played against Gabon, inside Gabon. Again, we lost that game 3-2, and that first half was absolutely brilliant from the Gambia. And then, we remember what happened at that halftime. The game did not start until after 45 minutes. A lot of things happened on that day, and Gambia eventually lost that game 3-2 to Gabon. So when the occasion is big, these players turn up. That begs the question, why are we still playing our home games in an empty stadium? I think we should do all we can as a country to make sure this group of players, this group of special players, they are really good players. We have some really, really top players. This group of players don't deserve to play their games in an empty stadium, because that is not what they are used to. Naturally, they are not used to that at their club level. They are playing in full pack stadiums. These are the caliber of players that we have right now, so they don't deserve to play their games in an empty stadium. Look what happened when we play our games in empty stadium. The African Cup of Nations qualifier, Comoros, Madagascar, those games, we should have been winning those games comfortably. Maybe Comoros can be difficult, but we should have been competing, winning those games more comfortable. But because of the nature of the way we play those games in empty stadiums, we are not seeing the best of these boys. But whenever we see them play against a team that have a full pack stadium, be it supporting the Gambia or not, or supporting the opponent, more often than not, it is supporting the opponent, the boys turn up. What happens when the boys have that kind of support? What these opponents are having in their country. What if the boys have that kind of support? They are turning up for the big occasions when the fans are there, the stadium is rocking, the boys are turning up. So why not we create this environment for these boys? And the thing is, we can still produce this environment. It is not that we are unable to produce this environment. We are choosing not to produce this kind of environment for this team. We are choosing that stance, let's say, right? If Gambia was playing a game in Senegal, for example, I will always go back to that. The stadium will be full, because going from Gambia to Senegal is very easy for many Gambians. To go from Gambia to Senegal to go and support their boys is very easy for many Gambians. So let's do all we can to make sure these boys get the support that they deserve. They always turn up when you give them the opportunity. I don't care if the stadium is ready or not. The next important one is the Africa Cup of Nations 2027. Regardless of if the stadium is ready or not, I don't know, because I don't have any hope when it comes to the stadium. But we have to ensure as a country that these boys will not play an empty stadium again. It is not fair on these players. They are doing their thing, playing, performing at good level, so they don't deserve to play in an empty stadium. That is the first point that I've noted. The proof is there. Whenever we play in a packed stadium, the boys turn up for these performances. And whenever we play those dull games in an empty stadium, we are not always at our best. And to make sure these players are at their best, we are utilizing their potential, what they have in them. We have to create the environment for them. Even if we cannot create it at home, we can create it close to our home. That is my point, my first point. The second point about the game, the back five. Johnny played with a back five in this one. I think he has been playing that for the last 3 or 4 games, and he has been building up on this back five. There was some question marks about the back five. Are we ready for the back five and all that? But yesterday against Kenya, I think the back five worked absolutely well. And Johnny got the balance absolutely right. There are many ways to play a back five. Sometimes you will see 3 central defenders, sitting in the back five, and you have 2 wing backs, like proper full backs covering the wings. Or sometimes some managers will bring a natural winger and a more attacking minded player who will spend most of his time on the other side, and then maybe the other full back will be more of the withdrawn one defensively. Understand? And then sometimes the central defenders, you will see that one of them will be a fullback, not necessarily a central defender. So there are many ways to play this back five. And the way he played it yesterday, I think, was absolutely brilliant. If you look at the profile of players you have, he makes sure that they get all the protection that they needed around them, as well as we have that attacking threat going forward. What I mean is, we played with 3 natural central defenders. Omar Colley is a natural central defender. Sirif Sinyan, who is very good in the middle part of that center back 3, and then you have Alaji Sen on the right side of central defense. He's also a central defender. And then the 2 fullbacks, the 2 wing backs in this case, they were all natural fullbacks. Even the substitution, they were natural fullbacks. Seni Sanyang is a fullback, and Mohamed Sane is a natural fullback. So what that means is, like, the back five was a defensive back five. Like, everyone was a defender in a way. There was no attacker. There was no fullback playing as a central defender. Why I say the balance was really good was, let's look at the case of Omar Colley. Omar Colley, we know he's at the twilight of his career. If he's playing at the left side of central defense, let's say you were playing Aliou Fadera on the left. Aliou Fadera decided to, Aliou Fadera is naturally an attacking player. If he spends most of his time playing up, what that means, Omar Colley sometimes will be asked to go and play the byline. Okay, he will be out of position in most of the time. But because of Seni Sanyang was there, Omar Colley was never almost he was never dragged wide by the Kenyans. Of course, sometimes the players can do that, find ways to drag these players and take them to their unnatural position where they are not comfortable. But because of the way Johnny set up the back five, Omar Colley was almost always as the left-sided central defender in a way. He never have to act like a fullback. And if you play a back five, sometimes the left central defender will act as a left fullback and the right central defender will act as a right fullback. But because of the balance we have, Seni Sanyang and Mohamed Sane, who are naturally fullbacks, they were always covering, even though they were also contributing in terms of the attack, creating width for the attackers, but they were always cautious of their central defender. On the right, not so much, because Alaji Sen could deal with being dragged on the right side, but Omar Colley, to be dragging him outside of his central defensive position is an issue. But because of the positioning of Seni, always available there, it was very good balance. And what that means is, our defense was quite solid. The defensive unit was quite solid with Ibu Adams and Mamadou Bajo, who also are kind of defensive midfielders. But Bajo can progress the play. That was my worry. If Bajo could not progress the play, we might have a problem with Ibu. Even Ibu Adams did well in terms of progressing the play. Sometimes, of course, we still question when it comes to him building up play. But when it comes to the battling game, when it comes to winning duels, when it comes to winning tackles, Ibu Adams is up there, one of the best we have in the Gambia national team. So the balance of the defense, I really like it. I really like the defense, and then having Babukar Gay back. Of course, he has some shaky moments in terms of his passing. A couple of passes that did not go well, but it seems the pitch was not at the best state. Like there was a ball that kind of almost got him that he has to fumble outside for a corner. Of course, he has some shaky moments in terms of his passing. A couple of passes that did not go well, but it seems the pitch was not at the best state. There was a ball that kind of almost got him that he has to fumble for a corner kick. It was a brilliant performance from the Gambia, and I think defensively, the balance, Jonathan McKinstry got it absolutely spot on. And the final point I would say is Adama Sidibe. Of course, we can talk about Yankwaminde, we can talk about Musa Barrow, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on Adama Sidibe. I think Adama Sidibe is what Musa Barrow and Yankwaminde need. This is not to disregard the strikers we have, the Ali Sows, the Adama Bojang, Alassana Jatas, or Abdoulaye Cisse. This is not to disregard any striker. Adama Sidibe is more compatible to get the best out of Yankwaminde and Musa Barrow. We all will agree that these two players are our key attacking players. Adama Sidibe gave me the vibe of, I'm a big Liverpool fan, right? Gave me the vibe of Roberto Firmino. I think this is a big thing to say. And I'm not saying that he plays like Roberto Firmino, no. But he glues Yankwaminde and Musa Barrow together. He connects them together. He brings that glue. I think we have some great strikers. This is not for me to disregard any Gambian striker. Ali saw one of the greatest we have. Alassana Jatta scoring a lot of goals last season. Adama Bojang, top striker. He will be a very important player for Gambia in the future. Abdoulaye Cisse, all these strikers, and Cisse, all these great strikers that we have seen in the Gambia colours. But Adama Sidibe, when it comes to Yankwaminde and Musa Barrow, that connects them together, gets the best out of these players. These players, they perform regardless of the striker in the team. If they play with Ali Sow, if they play with Adama Bojang, they will perform. That is just the quality of Yankwaminde and Musa Barrow. But to take their qualities to the next level, I think Adama Sidibe is the best one we have in this Gambia national team. This is what I believe, because he is very selfless. He is very selfless. Other strikers are selfless too. Again, whatever I'm saying is not trying to disregard what other players are doing, but what Adama Sidibe offers the national team. We all will agree that our two main men in the national team is Musa Barrow, Yankwaminde. So to get the best out of them, sometimes the striker don't have to be the focal point of the team. Like, if you understand what I mean. And this was what Liverpool had with Firmino. Firmino was not the focal point of Liverpool's attack. Everybody will used to call him the defensive striker. But what he was doing for Salah and Mane, connecting those two, they are very ambitious players when it comes to their individual numbers. They are very good. They are very good team players, but individually too, they want to do a lot for themselves. And this is what I see in Yankwaminde and Musa Barrow. They are very good team players. At the same time, individually, they want to get their numbers. They want to get their goals. They want to get their assists and all that. They want to be the main man. They accept that role. These two players, they accept that role. So to have a striker who wants to be the one who wants to score all the goals for the Gambia, I think it's not the best way to use Yankwaminde and Musa Barrow. This is not the best way. So the best way to use them is to have a striker who will let them thrive as attackers, who will let them thrive. And this is what Adama Sidibe does. And he's very good at linking up the play between these two players. He links up very well with them. Yesterday, look at the chance he created for Musa. He created almost two big chances for Musa Barrow in that game. The goal that Yankwaminde scored, the counter-attacking goal, he was the one who picked up the ball from the middle, play Musa Barrow, and Musa Barrow play a wonderful pass to Yankwaminde. And so hard working against defenders. He wins every header. He was the one doing all the dirty job for Yankuba and Musa Barrow most of the time. Sometimes in the second half, I was seeing that they were kind of a little bit disjointed. He will be in the air winning a header, and the Yankuba and Musa are not capitalizing on the second ball to go and win the second ball. Those things were happening. But overall, his performance, his work rate for the team, his selflessness for his players, Yankuba, he was letting them thrive. So Adama Sidibe has shown us a lot in this game. Like, to get the best of these two elite players we have in our team, Musa Barrow, Yankwaminde, he is kind of the best striker we have to do that job. Because if you have, let's say Alassana Jatta or Ali Sow. Ali Sow, look at his team he's playing for. They play more like a 4-5-1, and Ali is the focal point of that team. Every goal, almost 40% of the goals they are scoring at Rising Sport was coming through Ali. So he was their focal point. He has to score the goals. He has to score the goals. you know. But I'm telling you, Yankuba and Musa, they want to get in the goals. They want to score some goals. So if everyone want to get the goals, then something has to give. And in this case, I think these two players are our key players. So we want to get the best out of them. And I think Adama Sidibe is one of them. And, you know, the good thing is he's also chipping with his fair share of goals. After Musa Baro and Yankuba Minte, Adama Sidibe has scored the most goals for the Gambia. He has already scored 4 goals under Jonathan McKinstry. I think he has shown a lot, and Johnny would have learned a lot from this, from that performance. Yes, Yankuba Minte is a hard-working player. His work rate is really good. But you cannot compare what when he's working hard for Brighton and when he's coming, because when he comes to Gambia, he's more like the focal point, the focal attacking point. So, like, the defensive work is like it's kind of released on him a little bit more, even though he's still doing his work defensively, but it's not compared to Brighton. That is what I mean. Musa Baro, like you don't want to see Musa Baro in your defensive side defending. You want to see him high up there, waiting for those second balls, or like, you know, getting those balls, making those through passes, or taking those long range efforts. Sometimes it frustrates me, but he's very good at them, making those wonderful runs inside the box. Those things you want to see, linking up the play with the attack. That's what you want to see from Musa Baro. You don't want to see him defending. And Yanko Minde, when he comes to Gambia as well, you want to see more of his attacking input, even though he will put in some defensive shift in the game. But for Brighton, like, you will see him playing like a fullback or something, because that is a different system that he is playing there. That is a different way he is playing at Brighton compared to the Gambia. But then if you have that striker who is also gonna be the star to try to score all the goals, then we have a problem defensively. So you have maybe a striker who will do the pressing very well, who will do the defending, who will do the link-up play. And at this stage, what I saw from Adama Sidibe, I don't think any striker for Gambia have came close to showing that he is comfortable and you know, he's ready to unleash the potential of Yankuba Minte and Musa Baro. And that is what Adama Sidibe brings. These are my 3 takeaways from the game, guys. The boys turn up for big occasion. Number 2 is the defensive unit. Johnny yesterday got it absolutely spot on. And Adama Sidibe, you know, leading the line as a false number 9 is absolutely brilliant for the Gambia. It will give us a lot from Yankuba and Musa Baro, guys.